Here's our National League previews for 2012. There's 3 divisions, and I sort of characterize them as this. One is the balanced division. Mind you, it's got the best team in baseball probably in it. Then there's the mess division. I don't know who's going to win this division. Too much change, teams that really aren't that good, but they have the world champions in that division. And of course, then there's probably the best division in baseball, top to bottom, because the teams really all have a lot of assets that are good, and you can get carried away and brand a team and then find out they're a fifth place team when you think they're going to be first, and vice versa. And that's the the National League West. And so let's start with the National League West. My surprise division winner. All the divisions, you could probably have a different winner than me, but if there's any, this is it. Los Angeles Dodgers will win the National League West. I'm going to say right here, Clayton Kershaw, Cy Young candidate. They have a great team with Matt Kemp. They are a better team. They've added Harang now as a pitcher. This team is out of the doldrums of bankruptcy. They have new owners, but you know what? On the field, they're pretty much a good core of players that could be scaring anybody in this league because they're all going to be star players that will help the Dodgers up that ladder. It's not a very big ladder. You're only winning a few more games to go from 82 to about 90 to win that division. Who's going to take the back seat? Well, the Diamondbacks are going to come down, but not much. We finish them at second. We're picking them for second, just ahead of the Giants. The way I see it is there's a lot of batting ability on the Diamondbacks that the Giants don't have, and a lot of pitching ability that the Giants have. They're deep in that the Diamondbacks don't have. So your traditional one of those two teams is going to win the division, which most people will say. I'm picking the Dodgers because they have both, and these two teams are just behind them. I like how the managers, some of the best managers in baseball are in this division. That's why it's a toss-up, and that's why all these teams are in. So if we go to the bottom, do San Diego and Colorado have a shot? The way I see it is San Diego has done a lot of things. They've been bringing in new pitchers. They've gotten a little stale there for a long time. And anything could happen, but watch for one player in particular making a change, and that's Carlos Quentin out of the White Sox. A lot of talent, and I think he was just not used right over there, and he had some injuries. He may do very well playing in the West Coast and almost Mexico in San Diego. Colorado, I was high on this team for the last few years, but I think their window has passed, and it has a lot to do with pitchers that just didn't live up to snuff. When Jeremy Guthrie is going to be your number one pitcher, I've been in that as an Oriole fan all these years. It doesn't get any better for you in Colorado. So you'll be last in that division, but maybe north of 70 wins. In the Central Division, we're picking the Cardinals. Yes, they did lose Albert, but they've got the pitching and probably the most level of teams. The wild card is new manager, but we think that they're, of all that mix of teams, probably still the best. I'm going to pick the Pittsburgh Pirates to make the next jump. You know, they're getting players back. People like Nate McCluth are coming back to play for the Pirates. They're adding people for the first time ever. There's going to be a lot of excitement in Pittsburgh, and that's going to help them for most of the season contend. Milwaukee Brewers lost the most players. Now, how far can you really go down in this division? So we're going to stick them third because question mark Cincinnati, don't think they're as good as everybody says. I've got my concerns with them, and I also have my concerns with the Cubs, but there's no way they can be as bad as a lot of people say. That team is probably getting up around 75 wins. In this division, that shouldn't be that hard, especially when you have Houston, lucky if they get 60 at the bottom. And so there's your Central Division, and now let's look at the East Division. I call this the balanced division. There's some really good teams in this division. A team that will finish fourth in this division could easily get maybe second in one of those other divisions, maybe even contend in the Central. But I'm going to say this, they have to play each other, so their records won't look that good at the end for the bottom teams. If there's a dream team in the league, and you know, you can say what you want about the Angels or Texas or Detroit, I think it's the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have dream team pitching, dream team power. They've added Jonathan Papelbon, and they've got Jim Thome. They've got some experience in there. Even Ty Wigginton. They're like utility infielder. He could be like a starting third baseman on some teams a couple of years ago. I think they are the team to beat in baseball and in this division, and they're going to win 100 games. So where does that leave everybody else? Miami, brand new ballpark. Ozzie Guillen is their manager. In South Florida, there's going to be a lot of hype. Hanley Ramirez is going to have a good year under this guy. I expect them to finish second, just ahead of the Washington Nationals. Again, Washington Nationals, new manager. They have Davey Johnson. They're a very conservative organization. They're already talking about shutting down arms in September of some of their young pitchers. So I don't know if they really expect to contend. So no, you're not getting second place if you think like that. However, they're going to be in it. They're going to be a hard team to play. And that team is one that the Phillies have to watch. If they want to be long-term first place team, they have to watch to see where the Nationals are going. The Braves last year caught everything went their way for the first half of the year, and then they had that collapse. And quite honestly, their collapse was worse than the Red Sox collapse at the end of last year. I don't have a lot of confidence in the Braves. I didn't last year. I didn't buy in, and I'm not buying in now. I think they're a fourth place team in this division, but they're better than the Mets. Because the Mets, if there's one team where ownership is still an issue, it's in New York with the Mets. And they will finish last. I don't know how bad, but they're not going to be anywhere close to the other four teams in that division. That is your National League division stack. So we got the Cardinals, Phillies back in the playoffs, and the Dodgers. Hard part is trying to pick a wild card in this league. I don't think Miami or Washington are going to be good enough to get the wild cards. I think the Phillies have a big advantage playing these guys a lot. And so I don't think Pittsburgh's good enough to catch that wild card either, because that's not a very strong division. So you've got to go back to that division that's probably the best division, top to bottom in baseball, as far as having teams that are all close and good, and that's the National League West. And we're going to say San Francisco and Arizona will be your two wild cards. They'll play off to see who gets the real playoff spot. That's our 2012 baseball preview. Check us out at www.yesIsaiditfirst.com every week for more previews like this.